Hi, Matt with eTrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the Hollywood Racks Destination E-Bike Rack on the 2023 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Now this is going to be a solid option for you if you're looking for something that's going to have to haul those really heavy e-bikes and hauls them in a very secured fashion. What makes this so sturdy on our rack is going to be its multiple tie-down points. So it's going to have 4 in total. We're going to have 2 in the front, just being these straps. And then we're also going to have 1 on the back, also being a strap. And for our frame, we're going to have this clamp that just tightens up like this. And it's also going to have this little tab here that lets you use a locking core, just for additional security. This rack's going to be able to hold 2 bikes, 70 pounds apiece, so we'll be able to accommodate those heavier e-bikes. What I also like about the rack is it does have this tilt-away feature. And even when it's loaded up, it still pivots and tilts away fairly easy. To do that, I can even come back here and just loosen up this knob. And once that knob's loosened, it's going to stay in place, which is nice. You could even push it away from back here as well. If you don't want to work from back here, you can do the same thing on the front side. You just have to reach through those bikes. But now it's sitting up like this, and all we have to do is just kind of pull it towards us. And it's going to pivot right here. And it's going to tilt away pretty extreme. So if you have it loaded up with 2 bikes, depending on the size of your handlebars, it might touch the ground on the Santa Cruz. But now with our bike tilted away, we're going to have access to our tailgate, allowing us to grab any additional gear or even our included ramp. Now we can just put this back up, and pushing our bike back up is going to be pretty easy. What we have to do is just push up on it, and since it's kind of where's the pivot points are situated on it, pushing it up makes it a lot easier. And with it there, I can just push back up on this knob and tighten it back down to make sure it's very secured. With our ramp out, we can kind of take a look at it. So this is going to have a telescoping feature, and how that works is if you just flip it around and turn this knob, you'll be able to extend it for whatever length you need, just depending on how much working space you have. And we can place it down on our rack, and it gets placed on the back side of our trays. So I just have to line up this hole with this knob, just like this. So that is a downside, that you can only put it on the back side of the tray. So in this case, the one closest to me, I can put it on this side. And for the tray that our bike's currently on, we have to put it behind our bike, which I can kind of simulate if you're in a situation where there's a vehicle on that side of you and you can't take your bike off. There is a workaround with that, and I'll show you that now. The first thing I like to do is just remove these straps from over here and pull them out with this button and push them off to the side, making sure this is out of my way as well. I'll do the same thing for the front of the tray, moving this out of my way, and now I can take off the bike. It's going to be a very similar process, just coming up here, just removing those straps and pushing them out of our way, pressing those buttons. I like to keep them out of the way, just in case when you bring your bike over, you don't catch on anything. And this will be the last strap for our tires. And I can move up to our frame. And to take this off, I like to keep a hand on the frame just in case our bike falls over. I just turn this knob, it'll loosen up that clamp. Once that's loosened enough for our bike to come off, I just push that right out of our way. And you can also hook this hook and loop on and remove it. And just push that out of your way and move this one out of the way. And what helps me a lot when I do have the heavy bikes on, I just pull them over to this tray and push them down. And now I can take my bike for a ride. And what I like to do too is just strap everything back in I just don't like these straps kind of hanging around, getting caught in anything too. And what's nice about them too, they're going to have these rubber paddings. And what that's going to provide is just a little bit more protection for your tires. And these cradles are going to be able to accommodate up to 4.5 tires. And since our tray is kind of rounded, that's going to help accommodate a wider wheelbase selection. And with all of that secured down, I like to just take off my ramp so I don't forget it and put it back in our vehicle, just turning that knob here and pushing it back in on itself. Now I'll just come over to my center mass and just make sure everything's pulled in and more compacted on itself. You can even use your hook and loop strap here, make sure everything's nice and tied down. And to lower it down, I'm just going to come to the base and remove our rubber straps. And that's going to give us access to these handles on the side. You're just going to flip them out and kind of make sure they're kind of nice and horizontal. That's going to let this loosen up and fold in on itself. And with this down, you can just kind of adjust things so they fit a little bit more nice and neat. I like to keep mine over to the side a bit, if you can. And then just come back over to your handlebars and pull them in. Using that rubber strap to come back over the top and strap your handlebars down and secure it to the rest of the rack. And with everything folded up, another nice feature is we can still use our tailgate. So we just come over here. It's going to sit just barely above our rack, but as you can see, it's not making any contact. So if you need to grab anything else with your bike off, you'll be able to do it. As for how it interacts with the back of our vehicle, it's going to add from our back bumper to the back of the carrier. It's going to add just over 40 inches. So that's going to add a decent amount of space to your vehicle. So if you're in any tight spots like a garage or a parking spot, just kind of keep that in mind. It might make it a little bit more difficult. As for our ground clearance from the furthest point out, we're going to have about just under 23 inches. And if you're more concerned with where the cradles kind of fall down over here, then that's just going to be a little bit over 15 inches. So that's going to sit kind of low to the ground. If you're kind of worried about either one of those, it does have a fold-up option. To do that, all we have to do is come over here and remove this clip and pin. With that removed, we'll have the ability to fold this up, saving you a ton of room both on your ground clearance and the back of your vehicle. And just line those back up and put your pin back through. You might have to move it around just a bit, either pulling it towards you or away from you. And with that there, just make sure you clip on the other side. And with that in that position, we're going to have about 13 inches from our furthest point out, and our lowest point from our shank rise will be just about 17 inches. So that's going to save you a lot more space. How it's going to interact with the back of our vehicle is going to pretty much block most of our license plate, even when it's folded down as well. And our backup camera is going to be blocked for the most part. We can try adjusting things and moving things out of the way. So in that case, you'll be able to see more, but we're still going to have a lot of things blocking it. And our taillights and back window are going to be mostly unobstructed. And for how it installs, we're going to have our 2-inch shank that plugs into our 2-inch hitch receiver. And it's going to have this welded stopper at the top just to make things a lot easier to put it in. And then we're going to have this pin that goes through and attached to this locking core. And what's nice about that is this is going to use the same key system as our clamps from above. And if you take a look at the back, we're going to have this anti-rattle lever, and that's really nice because it makes it a tool-free install. And all I have to do to tighten it is just pull on the lever and then loosen it up, just push on it. And that's just going to make sure everything doesn't rattle or shake. Overall, this is going to be a solid choice if you're just looking for something that's going to be able to haul out of those heavy e-bikes and hold them very securely. Now, if you're looking for something that's going to have maybe a little bit more of a sleek design and has an integrated ramp instead, I'd recommend the Yakima On-Ramp. With that integrated ramp, it makes it a little bit harder to lose, and that sleek design just kind of makes it look a little bit nicer on your vehicle. But if you're looking for something that's going to be more secure, then I'd stick with this one. If you liked everything you've seen today, this was a look at the Hollywood Rack's Destination E Bike Rack on the 2023 Hyundai Santa Cruz.
Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the Solemn. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners and evasive maneuvers. Then we get to the alternating speed bumps. We'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving on uneven pavement. Then we'll go over the full speed bumps, and we can see the up and down action. This will be like driving in and out of a parking lot, garage, or a driveway.